Oh man. I bet he's freaking out when he found these.
Is everybody inside?
Doors is closed.
Just closed.
It's getting cooler. That sounds very cool.
Okay, you all look over to the right.
What?
What looks like snow or ice everywhere. And this is what we call flowstone. Now, we call this section of our cave our winter wonderland, and you can see why. And also, if you look up at the ceiling right here, to the right, you will see these tiny little formations, which we call soda straws. Now, soda straws are made by water dripping through the ceiling, and as it does, it deposits a ring of calcite. The calcite then builds up and makes your soda straw. Now, they are hollow at the center, and you can actually sip soda through them if you wanted to, but you can't have any of these. And if you look over to the left, you will see some more. Now, soda straws are actually just baby stalactites, and what happens is they plug up at the bottom, and then the water has to flow out over the top, and then you get your stalactite forming like this one here, and that one back there. Now, we're going to head down to the floor. There is one more extremely low ledge right here in front of me, so be careful. We do have lots to show you down there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, and you can take as many pictures as you like.
You gonna be able to work both cameras?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Jennifer's got me packing this water pistol in my pocket. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Shit, he does that all the time when I tell him. You know, I tell him head butts were off.
Do you want to sit back here with us?
That's pretty neat.
Joanna, please hold on to the railing. It's getting slippery. Just play with your sister, okay? Watch it.
Switch arms. Yeah.
Look at there.
Yeah. It's okay, buddy. We can't hit your head no more.
We will get the lights on. Don't worry, you'll be able to see everything. As soon as everyone gets down the bottom, I will turn the lights on.
Where you go?
Here. Now these rocks do have a technical name, and we call that breakdown. They were once part of the ceiling up above, and the ceiling collapsed to make the breakdown. Now he continued on
50 foot.
A little bit too much.
125.
Still too much.
75.
Okay, it is all. Now, soda straws have been known to grow up to 10 feet, but they usually don't grow very long. They usually plug up and make a stalactite. Okay, if you look at the ledges in front of you, you will notice that these stalactites are leaning and twisting towards the left. Now, this is not a normal occurrence. Would someone care to guess how that might have happened? Wind, correct. We believe, if you look up to the right, we believe that this was an open entrance right here that connected the two caves together. Now, if that was the case, it would have caused an airflow to come across these ledges here and down into the river below. And that's why your stalactites lean to the left like they do. Okay, 98% of this cave is still living and growing. The other 2% we account for the walkway and stairs that we've had to put in. And any damage that you might see was not done by man, it was done naturally. Now if you look up in the dome, you will notice some of the stalactites up there, which are broken, and even way up in the very top, you can see a couple that are also broken. Now would someone care to guess how that might have happened? What? What do you think? Water, correct. Okay, what happens when? It comes back to the river that's over there. In 1990, the river flooded. Flood levels reached this ledge right here. At that time, we did lose a lot of our soda straws, and of course, it messed up our lighting system, which we had to fix. And 14 years ago, flood levels reached up into the dome on that little ledge right there. So we theorized that at one time or another, the whole dome must have flooded, and foreign matter in the water, such as tree branches or rocks, would have caused the stalactites to be broken. You will also notice that the formations up in the dome are much larger than the formations down here, and that's because they are older. Now what happened was, as the limestone was forming up above in the ceiling, there was an air pocket in it. And that air pocket is the actual dome that you are looking at. Now this cavern that we're standing in This cave is much older than the other one. It is 30 to 60 million years old. It was discovered in 1820, and commercial tours did not begin until about 100 years later in 1925. At that time, the original sinkhole entrance was located right up here. Now at that time, the gentleman who owned the cave would sit up there by the sinkhole and wait for somebody to wander onto his property. He would then charge them 25 cents and hand them a pine torch and send them straight down this wall on a rope and into the cave. Now, seriously, that's true. Now, as you can imagine, he didn't get very much business like that. So he spread some rumors about gold and diamonds being found in the cave, which of course was not true because limestone caves do not have these things. And if everybody's ready, we will head on in.
That was the gold rush in 1925.
What?
Watch where you're going. You're going to fall.
Inside.
Just about.
Just about.
Don't forget
yes,
to shut
and
the
just
door.
about. Just a pine torch.
That's much about 200
That's
foot
about
down.
all you could see. Not very much, and you can't hardly see the feet below you, you know. So it wasn't very exciting, I'd imagine. Okay. For those of you who've never been in a cave before, besides the one you just saw, some information: water flows through the ceiling and deposits a mineral called calcite. If the calcite forms on the ceiling, you have what we call stalactites. And if the calcite forms on the floor, you have what we call a stalagmite. Now, if a stalactite grows from the ceiling to meet a stalagmite that's growing up from the floor, and they meet in the middle, you have a column like this one over here. Now, before I turn the lights on, I want to show you all again. Calcite is translucent when it is clean. And here's a broken piece of one of our formations from this cave that was broken by accident. And also, I asked you to please not touch any of the formations, but we do make one exception. This right here is our touchstone. And as we walk down around it, I will point it out with my flashlight, and you can touch this one. It is dead and no longer growing. Are we ready for the lights? Yes. Please, turn them on. Be quiet. Turn the lights on. Oh, look at this. This is Mystic Caverns. Now, because the cave's so old, as you can see, the formations are extremely large. And also, almost the entire cave is covered in rock. If you're all ready, we will head on down.
I got one that's going to go to sleep on me. Sleepy buddy.
Okay, this is our touchstone right here. You may touch this one. However, if I catch you touching any of the other ones, I'm going to hit you with my flashlight.
I'll make my boy hit her back. Hey, buddy.
Wishing well over. Feels weird, don't it?
Okay, the first thing I want to show all of you is this very large formation right here. This is called our pipe organ. As you can see, it does kind of resemble the pipes on a cathedral organ. I have no idea. Certainly not me. Okay, it is one of the largest formations in the cave, and it's about 35 feet tall and about 20 feet in diameter. And as we walk up around it, if you look by this light fixture here, you can kind of see that it is hollow in the center. It's actually made up of about 15 different columns that have grown together in a circle. I'm confused. Okay.
Jennifer.
Go ahead, it's taking us a little longer.
No, that's all right.
Okay,
I'm filming.
okay. Good. Then we won't feel rushed.
No, don't feel rushed.
Can't afford you in a paper.
That's why I got back here, so I wouldn't have to move with the flow.
Exactly. Well, then good, we'll keep you way back there.
I looked down when I go in, everybody was way ahead of me. I thought, oh, don't leave me in here.
It gets sucked in by little microscopic holes. And as pressure builds up, it pushes the water back out, and that's what makes your cave popcorn. Also behind me, we have a very large hole down there. Now we believe the two caves did connect, as I said, and we believe that this is the connection. Now we have had a spelunker go down there to investigate, and he's been stopped by a very large piece of a formation, which we believe to be the crystal bell. And we don't want to drill through it because we're afraid we might damage it, so that will remain a mystery for now. And as it stands, there is no known connection between the two caves. You six were hanging out there. That's the flow stone, and there's the popcorn.
Oh, the popcorn.
And there's the hole down there where the cameras might have connected.
Those are the fossils.
And these are the fossils.
How did you find those fossils?
Right here, I'm taking
Looking around?
Yeah, they're just looking around. Actually, there's a lot throughout the cave. These are pretty, pretty, not popular, but pretty frequent fossils that they find. He's got rocks up there that you can actually see that they're in there also. They're very common.
How far did they get down the hole before they...
I'm not sure how far they went. I think he said 60 feet or something. It wasn't too far, and then they got stopped because they're right next door to each other. So.
Look up over here because I can't get you. There. There's more. Sorry, let me get you this.
Are you singing?
Jennifer?
Good thing you put these rails in.
Get close. You may never see each other again.
Her turn.
I wish someone would do that for me. Be careful, little leg. You're making me nervous. Okay, this is called the ballroom, and that's because in the late 1800s and early 1900s, the local people used to come down here during the hot days of summer and have dances and parties. Pretty cool place to party, huh? Now, because of that, And that's because there's so many minerals in the water that it just corrodes the design completely off. Anyone have any questions? 20. Caves weren't protected until 19-something, so all them years, people were coming down here whenever they wanted, when they knew, as long as they knew the cave was here, and breaking formations and all that. Okay, go ahead. You got a question? Okay, go ahead. They broke it off somehow. What I would think was that it probably had some kind of tools, like big long poles that could hit them and make them fall in. Well, actually, pretty big and very strong. But if you can walk up to it and hit it like that, you can crack it.
See all them right up there? They're all broke too. They probably just walked up that ledge and get up there.
Unfortunately is covered with soot, but you'll also notice this crack going down the center of it. Now that is easy enough to explain what happened. As the formation was growing on the left-hand side, it was growing on top of limestone and rock. And on the right-hand side, as you can see, it was growing on top of mud and clay. So as the formation grew, it got too heavy for itself and shifted and caused it to crack down the center. I'm sorry. This little boy is so cute. Okay, if you look over to the right, you will see some broken draperies. Now you all seen the draperies on the crystal bell? Now these are, as you can see, much larger. And at one time, they did grow all the way down to the floor. And the best example of one that's still in one piece is this one hanging in the front here. Even though the end's chipped off, Get away. You're cute. Okay, if you all look up behind you to the ceiling and the walls back here, you will see this white chalky powder, which we call moon milk. Now the Indians used to take the moon milk and give it to people with